Hello and welcome. My name is Meepolis and this is Literally Graphic. And today I'm going to talk about something new and different, and that is an all ages non-fiction comic, which is not something I've read in a while. So, if at all, that particular combination. Anyway, it is called Deafo by Cece Bell, I believe. This comic is kind of a memoir of Cece Bell's early childhood, like her elementary school experiences, because even though she was born with hearing, at a very young age she got spinal meningitis, which ended up actually rendering her deaf. So this is kind of a book that she wrote for younger kids about her experience as a young kid who was deaf. As she points out at the end of the book, this is just one person's rather kind of hearing-obsessed experience with being deaf. It does have some drawbacks for the book, but overall I felt that was fairly fair since she is just one person. As far as I can find so far, I haven't really been able to find any other books like it. Not to say they don't exist, it's just rather hard to track down, so if anyone, as usual, knows any other books that deal with deafness, or any other comic books that either, deal with deafness in general or written by a deaf person, I, as always, would really love to hear about them, or, anyone else with any other kinds of physical or mental disability. So, wow, you have to take my opinion with a grain of salt. I do think it would have been beneficial if she had put a little bit more of the larger context of her experiences and other people's experiences in being deaf, kind of maybe inserted them as kind of, quick fact boxes or, narration or something. I don't think it would have been that difficult. And especially during her time when she was really against learning American Sign Language, maybe just putting some facts in there that she does include later in that short essay at the end. But again, I think her argument that it is just one person's experience and, that's all she really set out to show is fairly fair, especially since it is kind of autobiographical / memoir. She seems rather ambiguous on that point, but seeming to think that it's not technically autobiographical because she combines some people and, did change some facts to fit the narrative slightly better. I think that falls well within, like, the boundaries of, nonfiction in general, especially when you're dealing with your life. So she did seem a little bit naive, I guess, when it came to the genre, but she has written, or at least illustrated, a lot of other kids' books, so I did find her to be a really excellent kids' book author. At least from the perspective, of a late 20-something who, doesn't have all that much contact with young children at the moment. The stories themselves were a little bit childish for me, but can I really be critical of that? The fact that I'm not that interested in the day-to-day life of, a third grader is, not that surprising and not really something I can hold against the text. It was fun, it was light, it was, it wasn't a drag or anything. So I do think if I was younger or sharing this with a younger reader, I would probably have, found more personal meaning in it, as it was. Some parts did feel a little bit cliche, about accepting people's differences and all that stuff, but at the same time, that's a good message to be getting out to people, especially when it comes to people, with disabilities who are still discriminated against in so many ways. That was another big issue last year with Toronto and Canada, I believe, at large. Something I need to look into more, like everything in my life. I just need to be able to, do research 24/7 to be the best person I can be. Yeah, basically. And, have the perfect opinion about everything. But as it is, yeah, I just need to find some more comic books in that genre. The illustrations in this book were really fun. She does change everyone in her book into rabbits, which very few people took issue with or seemed confused by, but I think the combination of the fact that, you know, rabbits have giant ears, and this is a children's comic book, kind of explained why that was, and I thought it was fun. I think, personally, if it had been, you know, people, it might have actually drawn too much attention to that fact, and the more simplistic art style that involved friendly talking animals, you know, just kind of, I don't know, drew more attention to the issues and balanced things out better. Maybe I'm overthinking it. It was a fun read. I think I rated it 3 out of 5 stars, just because, again, it was a good example of a genre that I don't necessarily get into that much. Some other people took issue with the fact that she gets up to shenanigans sometimes, and sometimes she feels included even though technically her peers were probably just using her and stuff, and then the fact that she laughs because she can overhear her teacher peeing. But I thought that was actually, you know, maybe not outright brave, but I appreciated her honesty, and I think it fits the audience well. She definitely is appealing to kids. Again, she is an honest kid. She is a realistic kid. She is a relatable kid. I didn't feel like talking down to kids. She's accurately, you know, kind of depicting that kind of silliness and, you know, silliness that is being an elementary school kid. You know, that we're all supposed to grow out of and be much more serious. And, you know, more serious. And mature and never laugh at, you know, poop jokes or something. Yeah, so poo-poo on you. I don't know. So if you don't like reading books that have ambiguous morality and not everything's black and white, you know, then maybe this isn't the book for you, because it's a thing. Yeah, so, yeah, good read. 3 out of 5 stars. Fun time. Help me find more books about people with disabilities. By people with disabilities, you know, diversity of creators. Yeah. Bye. And as always, Literally Graphic is recorded on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation. I live here because of British colonization, Indigenous genocide, and more geographically specific, Treaty 13, also known as the Toronto Purchase, which was finalized in 1805 between representatives of the Crown and certain Mississauga peoples. This treaty was a lie and has since been broken many times over. Saying so reflects only my own small steps towards knowing the truth and does nothing for reconciliation.